My name is Jerry Riley, and I'm the site manager of the Lanier Mansion State Historic Site. The house was built by James F.D. Lanier, who was a man who was born in 1800, and he's one of the most important people in Indiana history in the 19th century. He helped save the state's finances several times, and most notably during the Civil War, when he lent the state over $1 million in unsecured loans, which means he wasn't sure he'd get paid back. But he helped keep us in the Union and helped win the Civil War that way. And he built this house in 1844, and it's in the Greek Revival style of architecture. And most buildings in the country built between about 1825 and 1850 are in this style of architecture. And it's very elaborate, but very stately, I think. And this is one of the finest examples in the country, still standing. When people tour it, you'll see a lot of Greek Revival features. We have the original paint colors on the inside and the outside, period furnishings, some that belong to the family. We have great Greek Revival features, spiral staircase, which people really enjoy. It's very dramatic. And of course we tell the story of the family and the people as we go through the house, and of Madison to a certain extent. And Mr. Lanier, as I said, lived here to 1851. And then there were some other family members here for a while, and then his son, he deeded it to his son in 1861, his son Alexander. And that son lived here until he died in 1895. And then in 1917, it was first donated by the family to the Jefferson County Historical Society. In 1925, the property was redonated to the state of Indiana. And in 1926, it opened as a museum, and it's been a museum ever since. And it's been a focal point of the town since it was built, because especially from the riverside, it has a great presence. And people back then traveled on the river a lot, and so when people were going by Madison on a riverboat, this would be an image that they would see and be a main landmark for them as they went by. I think Madison is a very unusual town in that the downtown section looks pretty much like it did 100 years ago. And so you can get kind of the feeling of what a town was like when it was still sort of the center of activity. The house, if you include the basement, which it has a full basement underneath, is 13,500 feet. Even though it's not really that big of a home, it has a very grand feel to it. The architect of the Lanier Mansion was a man named Francis Costigan. He's just well known in architectural circles. He has a great style. It's very restrained, but a nice style. And so it really is probably the grandest home that people can tour right now in Madison. The formal gardens were originally put in by the son I told you about, Alexander, when he owned the house. We think he put them in about the 1870s. Before that, there would have been a nice lawn, plain lawn down to the river with some trees and a fence and things. When the place became a museum, again, they just had a nice lawn here. And it was that way from about 1925 to the late 1980s. And then they were recreated in the 1990s. It was a really nice addition to the property, to the grounds. And also it gives an important context to the house. People can see how the gardens related to the home back then in historical times. So it's really just a neat place to come, I think.